It's Grind City Wrestling.
Oh yeah, welcome back to another exciting episode of Grind City Wrestling. I believe this is episode 245. Can you believe it? I am Dustin Starr. Be sure to follow us on social media at Grind City Media. Take that subscribe button to Slap City wherever you're watching, especially right here on YouTube. Last week it was all about Adam Copeland debuting in AEW, and this week we're going to tell you all about the best wrestling we watched all week and hit some headlines, and there's some major rumors circulating the world of professional wrestling. Plus, we're going to get you ready for AEW Collision next Saturday, because today I'll be talking to AEW broadcaster and former Ring of Honor World Champion Nigel McGuinness. But first, it's bell time. Introducing my tag team partner, my co-host, the A-lister, E-Rock, Eric McMahon. What's up, E?
What up, brother? Yeah, another good week. About ready after this podcast, hopping on a plane, flying out to Tampa Bay, Florida, repping some cage fights tomorrow night, Friday. You can check me out, UFC Fight Pass, Cage Fighting Fury Championships, feed organization to the UFC. That's what I got going on.
Oh, yeah. Be sure to follow E on Twitter if you want. Or is it X? Should I still call it Twitter?
I think
Twitter. His mom called him. His mama named him Twitter, so call him Twitter.
Okay.
I love it.
E_MacLife. And let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and bring in the third man in the trio. We are the trio's tag team champions, and he is one of the best follows on social media. Devin Walker.
Baby.
I'm gonna start by saying I told y'all so on that stupid ass CM Punk stuff. Number two, I got a beef with wrestling fans. We gotta talk about it.
We are going to talk all about it, because that's one of the huge headlines that I wanted to discuss here in just a little bit. But first, be sure to follow Devin on Twitter. It's at Devin_Walker. Who you really want to jump on the bandwagon right now, because the dude's got all kinds of stuff going on. So before we talk about wrestling, what's new? E, Devin, anything new going on?
I mean, basketball season's here. That's pretty much the thing.
Yeah, my time is being monopolized by reffing fights, Memphis Grizzlies, and kids.
That's a tough scene, bro. That's a lot.
I love how he says,
oh man, I love it. I love all of it. But
before we get started, last week I told you that I was not going to be at the preseason game, right?
Oh, we saw you there. It's like he didn't know what was happening, bro.
I was so there. I had no idea. So I actually went to the rehearsals, and I don't even know if I told you guys this, and they said they wanted me to be there. I thought that since it was a preseason game, they'd be like, no big deal. Man, I worked the entire television taping on Sunday. I got there at like 9 a.m. to open up. Devin, they were already tailgating outside the Wrestle Center at 9 a.m.
Shout out
Bell
to
time's not till 1:45. It was absolutely ridiculous. We had an unbelievable Halloween spooktacular. Can't wait for everybody to watch it. And then I hopped in the car and went straight over to FedEx Forum for the Memphis Grizzlies game. You talk about like a dream day. 15-year-old me or 10-year-old me would not know what the heck to think of something like that. But what a week it was.
Hey, speaking on that,
his hair was even looking flatter, bro, by the beginning of the game.
Right here? Oh,
no, dude, he walked in. I was like, "Why is this man's hair so flat? What's going on?"
Was it flat?
Yeah, bro, it was flat.
Looked like crap, man.
Mad flat.
Hey, Devin, I got that Tuesday night game, preseason game against the Bucks. I'll tell you what, I can't ever recall that many people being at a preseason game.
Oh, it's lit. It's been lit the first two preseason games. Like it's not packed.
Sunday wasn't that, but like Tuesday, I was like, dang, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, bro. The energy for Grizzlies basketball is lit right now. But this is not a basketball podcast. This is a wrestling podcast.
This is a wrestling podcast. He's absolutely right. So let's go ahead.
Can I tell you why I'm mad at wrestling fans?
Well, we can either start with why you're mad at wrestling fans, or we can start with the best wrestling that we watched all week.
All right, start with the best. So before I go yell at wrestling fans.
Okay, we're going to yell at wrestling fans here in just a minute. Also coming up, I'm going to be joined by Ring of Honor former world champion Nigel McGuinness. He is one of the broadcasters on AEW Collision. Collision is live at FedEx Forum next Saturday, October 21st at FedEx Forum. You can get those tickets right now, AEWTix.com or MemphisWrestling.tv. Eric, you're up first. What's the best wrestling that you watched all week?
I sent both of you guys an Instagram a link from years ago of Ricochet and Matt. Who else was in it?
Matt Sydal.
Matt Sydal. somebody else
who was Evan Bourne. He was Evan Bourne in WWE.
And it was a trios tag team match. And I don't know if we could can we put the link in this podcast anywhere?
I would like to play it for everybody to see, but I'm
you
so
could
scared of
probably play the
copyright.
Yeah, you could definitely play the clip.
It was honestly some of the best spots that I have ever seen in my life in front of 200 people at best. And it was just unbelievable. For those of you in the know, probably seen the link. If not, find a way to search it out because
triple shooting star press, bro.
Yeah.
And that was the least of it. Yeah. Like the RKO out of nowhere off the top rope, you know, the gainer pile driver.
With the flip. Yeah. So this is a clip trios match. I know that Ricochet was involved. Evan Bourne was involved. There was somebody else. I can't remember right off the top. Look it up on your phone real quick. I can't remember who it was. This is a very, very old clip that just somehow went back viral. And when you look at it, you think, oh, well, no wonder these guys are major superstars in their
Matt
respective.
Jackson in them too in this clip.
Okay. So the Bucks are in it as well.
The Bucks are in it, yeah.
Dude, how many people were there? 200?
Yeah, and I was going to speak on that too. You say 200 like it's not a lot, but man, those people were packed in that building like sardines, man. They were shoulder to shoulder.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, it's actually a compliment of what people are going to be doing on the regional scene, like to get seen, and it was unbelievable. That's all I just got to say. I'm trying to find out my phone,
it's a crazy clip.
Very, very cool clip. So old school clip that E-Rock saw on social media, probably Instagram. I believe that's where I saw it. And if I can find the clip, then it'll be playing right now during this podcast. So that's Eric Best Wrestling that he watched all week. Devin, you're up.
I guess I'll go easily. We'll go Tuesday Night Wars. They'll let you know, like it was NXT didn't get over 1 million viewers, which is like, okay, cool. You put all that stock into it, you got really close. But just having a head-to-head matchup on a Tuesday night, knowing that the other one knowing that they're going head-to-head, right? And NXT loading up on their show, we had guys getting rubs, younger guys getting rubs from legends, right? To let you know who's the next guy to be up in wrestling. Was Braun Breaker, whether it was Camilo. They're getting the rubs from legends, bro. So it was fun to see the Tuesday Night War, NXT versus AEW. NXT won by what? At least 300,000 viewers?
It was like 9 something to 6 something, like 980 to 630.
But nothing.
Are you surprised?
It's nothing like I'm not shocked.
Not with the star power that they were bringing out there, which brings to it's probably going into Devin's rant, so I'll probably stop right there. But you know, when you load up on stars, like people are nostalgic, you know what I mean? So it's gonna get over.
Yeah, I'm more shocked that they didn't get 1 million.
So they didn't advertise all those guys being on the show. So I'm not surprised they won, but I am surprised that the ratings were kind of what it is. I'd really like to see a breakdown segment by segment as it was happening, because that's probably a bigger tell.
So the highest viewed segment, I believe, I found it. Hold on. The highest viewed segment on the NXT show was, hold on, give me a second. I had it, bro. I had a bookmark. I gotta find it. Oh, here it goes.
They did market this a little bit. I mean, they had the Undertaker's gong, dong, dong at the end of one of the commercials, so it was kind of a teaser. You know, they did mention that Cena would be there. They mentioned that Paul Heyman would be there. And I could just see that it's very interesting that people think that WWE is scared, and I'm using air quotes again, scared of AEW. But I also saw the analogy that you're not scared of a mosquito, but when they get on your arm, you still want to squash it.
Well, I put it like this. You know, in old mafia movies, it's like, you know, if they're gonna whack somebody, they're also gonna take out his like oldest son, because it's like, well, this kid will eventually become a man, then he might be a problem then. Not a problem now. So why don't we just squash it before it starts?
So NXT peaked at 991,000 viewers. The segment that it peaked at was the Cody Rhodes, Dominic, Dragunov, and Rhea Ripley segment. That's where they peaked. And then AEW.
Rhea Ripley.
Dude, Cody and Rhea Ripley. That's easy money.
Yeah.
And then you have AEW Dynamite peaked up on the Christian Craze promo. with Daniel Bryan and Swerve at 731,000. So those are the big two
not
peak moments.
bad numbers by any means, guys.
Great numbers. Let's be
So
honest.
the way that I'm looking at it from the owner of a wrestling company standpoint is, oh my gosh, on a Tuesday, that many people were watching wrestling? That is awesome. And the only problem that I have with it, guys, is that we had a Grizz game at the same time.
I know, right?
So we had to go home and
I had to
get
go
all
back and
caught
watch.
up on it.
Yeah, had to get
Well,
all
yeah,
caught
right.
up
Devin
after.
was watching via Twitter and Instagram, so he was giving me updates right after the game. He's like, "Yo, did you see this? Did you see that?" I'm like, "I've been working all night, Devin. No, I didn't see this or that."
Dude, I had to see it. It was a big night. Taker into the show. It was pretty. I mean, we ain't seen Taker in forever, and it was like American Badass Taker, so it was dope to see. But no, dude, I gotta get to my rant, bro. I am mad. Well, I'm not mad, but I'm more so just wrestling fans are pissing me off.
All right.
And
Typical.
okay, this is why they're pissing me off. 5-star. Did you see Fastlane this weekend?
I did see Fastlane.
Which was a great pay-per-view. It's a
It
small,
was very, very good.
but it was good. So Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, last man standing match, all out battle, right? They're fighting all over the arena. The spot when they get to the stairs, right? They're fighting each other off.
They
Boom.
fought for like 28 minutes, by the way. I think it was 28-minute match.
Yeah, they fought for a long time. They get to the stairs, 5-star. Boom. Punches. Boom, boom, boom. Shinsuke kicks Seth off. Seth falls off the rail onto the floor. Apparently, he hit a crash pad, right? And there's video footage of him hitting a crash pad. And I am pissed off because 5-star, if there's wrestling fans, why is Seth using a crash pad? Why did he just hit the floor like we used to? I'm like, wrestling fans, look, do you think that John Wick went around and killed all those people? Do you think in Fast and Furious those cars were actually riding under those other cars? Would you say, E-Rock, do you think King Kong actually climbed up the freaking
the Empire State Building?
Empire State Building? What are we doing? Like,
There's been quite a bit of stuff like that. I mean, there was the steel chair with Ricky Starks missing the leg by a mile, and then Braun Breaker with the steps smashing somebody's head and missing. I mean, but the camera angles that they had were perfect for television, and that's kind of what you're talking about here. Like, why are you trying to ruin the magic, wrestling fan?
Exactly. This wrestling fan captured video. He's like, "Oh my god, look at Seth. He's landing on a crash pad."
No I'm so shit. Cool. I'm so cool. I'm gonna put this on my reel.
Yeah,
because we think wrestling's real. It's
no shit. He landed on a crash pad. What do you want him to land on? Right, like, bro. This is not 2001 and 2002 when dudes are just flying off rails onto bare concrete, bro.
Like, you know what? And that's like this is like the epitome of like the victim social media mentality. It's like, you got to be the one to show that you are whatever first. And it's like, no shit, wrestling is fake, dummies.
Exactly. That's my point.
Be entertained. This is a entertainment version of the Roman Coliseum. Be entertained by it. That's all.
And that's the problem I have with it. I love the fact that wrestling's come back, but that's what I hate about the new age wrestling fan. They're never happy, right? They're never happy. You can give me a 5-star match. You can give me spot after spot after spot after spot. But wrestling fan is always going to bitch about the small things. Oh my God, Seth used a crash pad. Oh my God, he missed that spot. Oh my God, did you hear that? You can hear him talking. I don't care. Just give me entertaining products and I'm happy. Wrestling fans, stop ruining wrestling. No one ruins wrestling like wrestling fans, bro.
And it's not like they're botching the spots. It's just it's camera angles. It's smoke and mirrors. If they were like watching spot after spot after spot, then like, okay, now we complain about it.
The fans know. When we're at Memphis Wrestling, we say, "All right, everybody, 3, 2, 1, come back, everybody." They know they're in on it. So if you're in on it, why are you trying to destroy it on social media? Crazy. So the best wrestling that you guys watched all week. Best wrestling that I watched all week was anything that has Jade Cargill on it. It kind of looks like Jade is making her stops on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. She has the most fantastic outfits that I've ever seen. I thought she was in wrestling gear, and she came out in this full body type of suit that would see through and everything else, dabbing up Triple H or whatnot. So anything that has Jade Cargill on it, I'm loving because I think she's going to be a super duper superstar. But
she
then
said
also
line them up, 5-star. She said line them up. She's ready.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to be some awesome matches, and I would expect to see Bianca Belair back at some point because they've got to get those two across the ring from each other. And then also, I've got to give a big shout out to the Halloween Spooktacular. Guys, we sold every single seat in the Wrestle Center. And I'm going to tell you, if I had to guess, more than 85% of those people were dressed in Halloween costumes. It is going to make some really good TV. All the feature attractions were great, but man, there's nothing like the fans of Memphis Wrestling. So we sold it out. That's coming up. You can watch the Halloween Spooktacular on October the 27th and 28th on WMC Action News 5 Plus. Devin, we missed you out there, brother, but I know it was game day.
It was game day. The real question is, did Crazy Steve bring his fork?
You know, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I will say one thing. Crazy Steve did bring a fork.
He did bring the fork.
Crazy Steve is crazy.
And he may or may not have stabbed somebody with it. All right.
Hey, really quick before we move on, one more thing. Since we were kind of talking about things in The Undertaker, did you guys notice, and we say like camera angles and whatnot, that, and I don't know if this was a camera angle mistake or whatnot, and I'm not trying to hate, but did you notice when The Undertaker came out, he came out a little too far right away, and it just had the tip of the motorcycle first when the view on the ramp? Did you notice that? And I thought about it at first, and I was like, dude, did his motorcycle stall out? Or I'm like, did he just pull up too far? Or was the camera angle wrong? I don't know if you guys noticed that, but working in production like we all do, it was glaring to me.
Yeah. All right. So coming up next, I'm going to talk to former Ring of Honor World Champion Nigel McGuinness. He's going to be live at AEW Collision next Saturday, October 21st at FedEx Forum. You can get your tickets at AEWTix.com or MemphisWrestling.tv. It's going to be a good time. But then when we come back, I do want to talk about CM Punk. I want to talk a little bit more about the Tuesday Night War, and I want to get you guys' opinion on it. But first, let's head over to my conversation with Nigel McGuinness. Nigel, thank you so much for joining me here on Grind City Wrestling. What's going on?
Oh, a lot going on, very much so. Not as much as where you are, though, in the middle of that sauna by the looks of things.
That's kind of an ongoing joke with a lot of the guests. I'm actually at my house. It's a log cabin, so I'm not at the studio at the moment. But I wanted to talk real quick. We've got AEW Collision coming up. You've got a magic show coming up on Sunday immediately after. But first, I want to talk a little wrestling. You and I actually have something in common. So I used to be a performer inside the squared circle, and you did as well. I was not a former world champion, though, but now I broadcast and commentate Memphis Wrestling every Friday and Saturday. And you're broadcasting AEW Collision every Saturday. Congratulations on that. But
we're competition then.
No, we're not competition. I'm saying, do you miss taking the bumps?
Do I miss taking the bumps? No, not in the slightest. Absolutely not. It hurts and it's dangerous. And no, that was the one thing that I don't miss about it, to be perfectly honest with you. What about you? I mean, do you miss that? No.
Absolutely not. Sometimes I'm sitting there watching the stuff that our athletes do, and especially on Collision, just how the agility and I mean, they're just so acrobatic. I could never do any of that kind of stuff. There is no way possible. And so when I'm sitting there calling the action, I don't say, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. You're glad that you're not doing it anymore, right? That's the truth of the matter. And it does give us a very visceral concept of what it feels like to actually be in the ring and to fall that way. And then when you watch guys like Darby Allen and you just go, how is he walking week after week? He's just incredible. He's, you know what I mean? He's not human. He's like the T1000. He just keeps going, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is a big week coming up next Saturday at FedEx Forum, AEW Collision. This is awesome because we're fresh off Title Tuesday. Great show. And then also it was the Tuesday Night War. So I've got to ask you, because me and the boys have been talking about it. What's your feelings on the Tuesday Night War?
Yeah, I'm not so much of a war, was it really? In the sense of, I'm not sure. They certainly don't seem to consider us competition. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think either. I think both companies involved. It's just about putting on the best product you possibly can and increasing the ratings and getting more eyeballs on the stuff that you're doing. I do believe there is two different audiences, and there's not a lot of crossover between the two. I don't believe that being the case. And so I wasn't really too concerned about it. Certainly, I'm very proud of the stuff that everybody's doing in AEW, and extremely proud and blessed to have a spot on the show as well. And super looking forward to Saturday, seeing Father of the Year Christian Cage finally giving that clam digger Brian Danielson what he's got coming. So yeah, it's funny. Everyone loves to talk about that stuff, and sometimes I feel like there's too much talk about that and not enough talk about what's going on in the show, which we're partly responsible to as well. We've got to get the stuff that happens from the beginning of the show to the end of the show to be the stuff that everybody's talking about. But I think it's perhaps the competitive nature of human beings, and after the Monday Night Wars in the late 90s, and what a huge effect that had on the industry and everybody involved. As a fan at the time, people perhaps look back nostalgically on that time and always want to be there again.
Talking to Nigel McGuinness, I totally agree. I was talking to the boys earlier, and that means that a lot of people were watching professional wrestling on Tuesday night on two different channels. So that is good for all of us. I've got to ask you about CM Punk, because you're a former Ring of Honor world champion. He is too. I'm sure that you guys have some sort of connection because of that. And I don't want to ask overall, but just, is there a story out there that is just so egregiously incorrect that you go, come on, man, that's so crazy?
About CM Punk or
Yeah,
about the wrestling
or
general?
just about CM Punk and the whole thing, because every time you go down Twitter or X, you see a new story about CM Punk.
Yeah. I haven't talked to CM Punk since he left the company. I've no hard feelings or resentment against him, certainly. I wasn't there whenever whatever happened went down. So I can't really comment on it, to be perfectly honest with you. All I can comment is what I have been around and what I have seen, which on Saturdays has been fantastic. The atmosphere backstage has always been good. Everybody's got a very positive attitude. It was great to have Phil part of that. It's a shame and a disappointment that he's no longer a part of it, certainly. But why and everything else that goes on with it, I can't really comment. Yeah, certainly. I'm more looking forward to all the guys who are contributing moving forward, certainly, as I said, coming up Saturday.
Very well said, because I think a lot of people just think, like wrestling fans think, that there was always something going on, and it's not quite like what you read on the dirt sheets all the time. But anyways, coming up Saturday, October 21st, AEW Collision coming to FedEx Forum. It's the first time ever that AEW's been in Memphis, Tennessee. The rich history of professional wrestling here in Memphis. Now, you guys were at Landers Center before the pandemic, which is just on the outskirts of Memphis, Tennessee. I told you earlier, we call it Memphis, Mississippi. It's so close. But what's it feel like coming to FedEx Forum, and what can the fans expect from an AEW live television taping? Because Collision's live.
Yeah, it's live TV. You already know, as I said, Brian Danielson, Christian Cage for the TNT title. Going to be some amazing other stuff as well. And that's one of the things that I love about AEW as well, is there's a lot of cross-brand movement. Wednesday nights to Friday nights to Saturday nights, you're never sure exactly who you're going to see on the show. I mentioned Darby Allen. You talk about the Acclaimed. You talk about Tony Storm, who's really being revitalized in pro wrestling at the moment as well in AEW. So expect an incredibly entertaining night. And of course, one of your own, Dave Brown from Memphis Wrestling, the old school Memphis Wrestling, will be there as well. There you are, exactly.
He's a supporter. He's been on our program as well. I love working with Dave, and always good to see him. Is he actually going to join you on AEW Collision? Is it a match, a segment? Do you know?
From what I understand, and don't quote me on this, but from the last I heard, and most of this comes through social media anyway, he is going to be involved some way doing commentary, which I'd love to certainly have a part of it. I've always enjoyed other people joining the announce booth. They always had something different, certainly. What I want to ask him about, what was it Jimmy Hart used to call him? Dave Brown, the Weather Brown Clown, or something like that?
Dave
Is that
Brown,
right?
the Weather Clown. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it'd just be great to get his history on the business as well. One of the things I love about having JR calling the main events of Collision is all the wrestling history that he can dig into. I'm a big wrestling historian, before I got into the commentary, I always thought you've got to learn where wrestling came from to know where it can go to. And certainly the history of Memphis wrestling is deep and ingrained in professional wrestling. You talk of Jackie Fargo or even Sputnik Monroe and a lot of those stories that we've learned about those legends. So as is always the case, AEW coming from Tony Khan, who is a true fan of professional wrestling, always honors and respects the people who got the business to where it is today. And so that will continue.
Every conversation that I have with Tony Khan, no matter where we are, he mentions Memphis Wrestling and asks about it. And I know they did a big Legends of Memphis Wrestling the first time when they were at Landers Center. So that was very, very cool. So to have Dave Brown a part of it, I think Memphis wrestling fans are just going to absolutely love that. So that's coming up next Saturday, October 21st, FedEx Forum, AEW Collision. Dave Brown on the call. That's going to be awesome. But then you're sticking around because you have a big one-man magic show on Sunday at Growlers. Now, I had no idea about this. So tell me, so you do magic?
Yeah. I've been doing magic as sort of a hobby for the last 10 years behind the scenes. Nice. When I started wrestling in Japan, actually, I used to go out with the sponsors after the show, and I just take a deck of cards because I didn't speak a lot of the language, and sometimes I wasn't even sure what food was coming around. So deck of cards, just learn a couple of little tricks. It was a little bit of fun. And then it sort of burgeoned from there. And when I was working for WWE, it became more of a every week backstage. I'd have a new effect that I was working on, and there were a few usual suspects that I'd do it for backstage.
Well, usually, if you can pop the boys, you can definitely pop a crowd, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. and that's funny because all the boys used to say to me, "Why don't you do a show? You should get something up on the network or do something." And I don't think they realized the transition from doing a little bit of close up to a couple of friends to doing a full 90-minute story arc, etc., with illusions, mind reading. And so, unfortunately, it was the passing of Jay Briscoe at the beginning of this year that actually inspired me to finally go, you know what, I'm going to do it because you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So let's do this. So I took about 3 months, 3 weeks intensively, took a little trip with my girlfriend to Costa Rica and spent the time really knuckling down, figuring out what effects I was going to do, what story I was going to tell. And I've done it now, I think 6 or 7 times. We had the debut in Santa Monica about March. I've done it in England a couple of times, Los Angeles, as I mentioned, Chicago. But this will be the Memphis debut, Growlers Comedy, great venue. And it's really an homage to professional wrestling. So if you like professional wrestling, you will love this show. It's all about this thing that we share, this proud guilty pleasure, as I like to call it, of professional wrestling that we've loved for so long. And so I do a little bit of magic that emphasizes certain things, and you're going to come out of it not only being glad you're a pro wrestling fan, but it'll make you happy to be alive as well. It's a real positive show. I'm extremely proud of it, and I just excited to see everybody come out and be a part of it. I asked Dave Brown if he's going to come, but we will see. So can't guarantee it.
Very nice. All right. So you can get your tickets for AEW Collision. That's AEWTick.com or MemphisWrestling.tv. And then also you can catch Nigel's show October 22nd. By the way, that's my birthday, October 22nd. And I know that you can get your tickets online at Growlers. Growlers is a good friend of the show. We actually did the Superstar Bill Dundee tribute at Growlers where Superstar was on stage. He and I was answering questions.
Nice.
And believe it or not, Superstar didn't remember a whole lot.
That's fantastic. Oh, maybe he'll come along as well. If I get his information, I'll give him a shout. I'll see if he wants to come out. That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join me here on Grind City Wrestling. Is there anything else you want to tell the wrestling fans of Memphis, Tennessee about Saturday's Collision and then also your show on Sunday?
No, not much other than come out and support it. In terms of the Magic Show, this is something that's very special and means the world to me. It's as I said, it's an homage to professional wrestling, but it's also being inspired by Jay Briscoe. It's almost to pay homage to the man who, inspired so many people in the wrestling business in terms of just his positive, outgoing sort of attitude. And he may be gone now, but we all still remember. And we all share that thing with him called professional wrestling. So come out, support entertainers like this. This is super important. And then obviously Collision is going to be off the charts. I guarantee you. Just that match alone between Christian Cage and Bryan Danielson is going to be fantastic. Worth the price of admission anywhere in the world. You're going to see far more as well. Really entertaining show. Just get behind it. You got to support pro wrestling, and we'll give it back to you in spades. So looking forward to it.
There. We will be there. The Memphis Wrestling crew will be there. The Memphis Wrestling fans will be there. We can't wait for AEW Collision. And then also we'll stop by on my birthday to check out your magic. All right. Thanks.
Brilliant.
Nigel, I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigel McGuinness, and I am Dustin Starr. Always good to catch up with Nigel McGuinness, guys. I have not talked to him in about 15 years when I met him at Impact in Orlando. I'm pretty sure he would never even remember that, but huge event coming up, AEW, first time ever in Memphis.
Everybody remembers 5 Star. Shit.
I don't know about it. Maybe the hair. Maybe he would remember the hair.
Come on, Memphis, bitch. Up on top. He remembers.
This time last week, I was telling you guys that CM Punk is going to be at Survivor Series. He is going to be with WWE. He is going to be in Chicago. He will make his return, but the segue here is that all of a sudden, I see Devin's thumb down. All of a sudden now the reports are coming out that Vince and Triple H said, no, they don't want any part of CM Punk. So is that smoke and mirrors? Because at first it was hot and heavy that CM Punk was coming back. And now they're trying to get the word out there that no, he is not coming back. So the story has completely changed this week.
I think it's because
what do we believe?
So many people are making references to it, whether it's to go to sleep on Monday Night Raw.
But they keep doing it. Why do they keep doing it if Punk's not coming? Are they trolling CM Punk, or are they literally setting up a huge surprise return?
Bro, I told you, bro, I'm going to jump in the river if I hear that music at Survivor Series.
There were people saying, put your swim trunks on, get ready to jump, brother. It was all over YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, and I say this again. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And for me, I know WWE will bring back problem employees a lot, but this, in the current climate of where WWE is, where they were and where they're going, I just don't see Vince or TKO Entertainment, whatever they are now, and Triple H or whoever. I don't see them retreading what is now AEW people, because Jade is not being Jade Cargill. She's not being retread. She's being elevated. I really think if CM Punk comes in there, he's being retreaded a little bit, and I don't see that as their style.
And there's only one city he gets to pop in, bro. I know what the show's in Chicago.
I'll see CM Punk tonight. I'll see him at the hotel. I may have a beer with him. Bring it up.
He gets a pop in one city, bro. Every other city don't give a damn about CM Punk. Chicago's the only city he gets a pop in.
My boy, Devin Walker Baby, wants you to come on the podcast because he wants to shoot with you.
Yeah, and tell him how terrible he is.
I would love to see that. Eric, please set that up for us because I would love to see it. All right, so those are my notes from this week with CM Punk and, of course, the Tuesday Night Wars. I know you were griping a little bit earlier, Devin. You got anything else you want to say to the wrestling fans?
Oh no, I think I've cleared the air. I just think it's and I wouldn't say golden age, but a moment in time where we will remember this, right? So there's different areas of wrestling, from the 70s to 60s to 80s, the Attitude Eras, the Ruthless Aggression era. I think this is going to be an era that's going to be remembered forever. And I don't want these nerds and these wrestling fans to ruin it. That's all I got to say. Because I feel like now there's so many there used to be smart marks in the Attitude Era. I think there's so many more smart marks now. It's like, dude, just enjoy the product. There's so much good wrestling out there. Just enjoy the product.
Have fans come to me at the show that I run, that I book, and tell me stuff that's happening in the business, like they just got off the phone with Vince, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
everybody's a booker now, bro. Everybody's a freaking booker now, bro. Just enjoy the show. We'll keep it pushing, and stop whining about everything.
Well, with that being said, Devin, Dustin asked our opinion, and we were like, I said, I don't think it's our style. You're saying, hell no, I don't want to see him. Dustin, you didn't weigh in on the topic. You just posed the question. So CM Punk, is he going to show up at the Survivor Series? Is he not? Is it a good idea? Is it not a good idea?
I think it's both. I think it's a good idea and a bad idea. I think that if they do the deal,
You gotta call him
seriously,
middle of the road 5-star.
Well,
No.
I'm just
Take
thinking
a stand,
because,
Dustin. Take a stand.
well, I think CM Punk's gonna end up back. The whole TKO thing, he's already in with UFC and all that kind of stuff. And so there is money left on the table. And Vince has always been the best about not leaving money on the table, not very often anyway. And you've seen a lot of guys come back that you never thought would come back. Ultimate Warrior comes to mind right off the jump. He was written off. They even did a DVD about what a piece of shit that guy was. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, they bring these guys back because they can make money. And Chicago, if there's one place you're going to bring CM Punk back, it's definitely Chicago. They'll sell a ton of merchandise. Just what kind of deal is it going to be? And also, I don't think that WWE worries about what happened in the locker room at AEW. I feel like that they're on a much different level. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that they have been in business so much longer. They are a well-oiled machine, whereas AEW...
So what I'm hearing from you is, yes, you think it's a good idea to bring CM Punk back, and yes, he will be back.
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Here's what's coming up.
Tell Memphis Wrestling to stop commenting on our Instagram reels about CM Punk and Memphis ? Shut up.
Hey, maybe it would happen. I don't know.
I
But here's what's coming up for Memphis Wrestling, and it doesn't include CM Punk. This Friday and Saturday on Memphis Wrestling, you can watch on Action News 5 Plus. That's Friday night at 11 p.m. and then Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Plus, watch it free, youtube.com/@Memphis Wrestling. The Gun Show defends the Memphis Heritage Championship against Mikey. 1-on-1, 2 fan favorites. Who you got, Devin? Is there an upset in the making?
Say Mikey versus Gun Show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think Memphis Cena wins all day.
Memphis Cena.
You know who Memphis Cena is?
This weekend on Memphis Wrestling. Next Saturday, October 21st, AEW Collision is live at FedEx Forum. Get your tickets at aewticket.com or memphiswrestling.tv. This show should be absolutely loaded, especially fresh off of what happened on Title Tuesday. October 28th is Small Business Saturday at the YMCA in Whitehaven. Memphis Wrestling will be out there with discounted tickets, free swag, and all sorts of stuff. Stan the Man, the bell ringer, is going to be there on the mic. Memphis Wrestling will be in the house. That's the YMCA in Whitehaven. It's absolutely free. Then the next day, October 29th. Ready, Devin? Prince Nana.
No, my boy.
And
Prince
Brandon
Nana.
Cutler.
We're
coming to Memphis Wrestling. Get your tickets at memphiswrestling.tv. That should be fun. October the 29th. And then on November 19th, going to be a huge impact at Memphis Wrestling because Josh Alexander and Eric Young, 2 former world champions, will be there. Those tickets are available right now on memphiswrestling.tv. So my hope, guys, is that Josh Alexander can recapture the Impact Wrestling World Championship and then bring that title to Memphis. Can you imagine the Impact World Champion being on Memphis television? That could happen coming up on November 19th.
That'd be legit. You're doing big things, 5-star. But not as what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and lock down CM Punk. I'm going to see him while he's straight edge, so he won't be at the hotel bar tonight. He may be in the area, but I will. I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try, dude.
This guy.
Get him. I am anxious to see if Devin talks all that same smack to CM Punk to his face on Zoom.
Oh, I will for sure.
What's going on this weekend?
Catching a flight, like I said, to Tampa today. Tomorrow, Cage Fighting Fury Championship, theater organization for the UFC, live on UFC Fight Pass tomorrow night. I'll be the third man in the cage. My co-host on my other podcast, John Morgan, is going to be on the call. His play-by-play commentary partner, CM Punk, will be on the call as well. I'm in the cage, Punk on the call, Morgan on the call, and the stars of tomorrow of the UFC are in the cage. Check it out, UFC Fight Pass, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Boom. Devin, what you got going on?
We got Tigers game on Friday. I know you hate. I'm sorry if I start, but wrestling nights on Friday. The legend himself, Coco Beware, the Birdman's going to be in the building.
Hey, you know what? Let's talk about that. I mean, these guys have open heart surgery. They've had knee replacements. They have strokes. So who's actually never mind.
Hey,
never mind.
Hey, 5-star. Nothing beats that pop from 25 people. You just had an open heart surgery, my guy.
Hey, man, listen. At the end
I hope they have the medics on standby because they might need it.
At the end of the day, man, we gotta do better. University, gotta do better.
They definitely have to do better. There's a whole story that one day I will tell you guys.
There's some people that I'm not gonna hate on, and then there's some that I are. Some that I am. But so if you're gonna make a night, then make a wrestling night, man. Go all in. Like, listen, I'm not here to put over one thing or another. I'm just saying when we do it at the Grizzlies, we go all in on it. We don't go half in. We're not a toe in the water. We're all in.
Got a couple seconds, Devin.
I agree with Eric.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us here on Grind City Wrestling. We will see you next week. Big shout out to Nigel McGuinness for joining me here. For Devin, Eric, I am Dustin Starr saying so long, everybody.